It's very much an honour to stand here as the chair of the Avondhu Macra Rally 2019 committee. I don't think when I joined Macra some 9.5 years ago that I thought I would be standing here. I came to my first Freehold meeting in May 2010 with a very good friend of mine, and I don't think either of us thought we'd end up having a rally a number of years later. She ended up being in chair of our AGM that we had a few years ago, and I ended up here. So funny how things happen with two people who go to a Macra meeting in one night. Avondhu is a region that has grown and developed over recent years and has changed significantly from how it was when I joined at that fateful meeting way back then. From having 3 or 4 clubs, we now have double that number in clubs and a strong membership of over 450 members across the whole region, and we're active across all areas of Macra. The Avondhu region has one of the largest and most active and vibrant memberships across the country, with members spreading from the Kerry border in the west and going all the way as far as the Waterford and Tip border in the east, and we continue to grow. I've been fortunate enough to have some of my own best Macra experiences at rallies. Indeed, my own first rally was in this very hotel back in 2011, when my own club won the Cooperative Club of the Year title, so this hotel has a lot of very good memories for myself personally. Hosting a rally was something that was muted at various stages over the years in Avondhu. We decided not to, or we weren't ready, or the timing wasn't right. When the opportunity arose a year and a half ago to apply, we were subsequently successful. It was really a case of all systems go, and we are thrilled to be hosting the annual conference for Macra's Diamond Jubilee. A year and a half later, and some 30 or so meetings, with many WhatsApp calls and countless phone calls, dozens of road trips, and our famous, or should I say infamous, green t-shirts, I must say that it has been one of the most enjoyable and rewarding experiences for all of us in the rally committee and the wider Avondhu region to be involved in, and something that we have all grown and developed in various ways from, which is a huge part of being a Macra member for anyone. It's been something really amazing to see Avondhu people involved in this weekend in particular, from the conference on Friday to the farm walks yesterday, to even things like making signs over the last while, to even today at the stock judging. You know, you didn't even have to look around and there was Avondhu people doing something, talking at farms, talking about their own farms, hosting the farming tours, moving stock, supplying the stock. There was Avondhu people involved in every step of the chain, and it was just something to be immensely proud of, and everyone involved should be so proud of, and we all are absolutely delighted with it. So changing the format was something that wasn't a move that was taken lightly, but we were delighted with how it worked out, and we're delighted with the turnout that we had at every stage. So I just want to say again a huge thank you to everyone who helped out in every way. Thank you to everyone who helped out, and congratulations to all the competitions winners over the weekend. And it's also, with my Avondhu hat on, it's nice to see a few Avondhu winners that were popping up along the way as well. Thank you to all our guest speakers and our host farmers for being so generous with their time, their resources and their facilities. Thanks to everyone who supplied stock for this morning's stock judging. And we'd also like to thank members of national staff for their support at various stages in the process of organising the event the weekend. Special thanks to our TDO, Mr. Murphy, alongside here to our right. He was always at the end of the phone if required, even when it comes to moving cattle for stock judging. The man's always there if we need him, so thank you very much, Gary. Thanks also to our National President, Thomas Duffy, our Munster Vice President, Sean Wallace, our National Chair, Marie Hartnett, the Ag Affairs Committee for their assistance. Thanks to Catherine and all of Corn for their assistance. I think it was a super fit-up for both Friday and today. To Adele, Shane and all the team in the Radisson for their assistance and facilitating us for all over the weekend and in the run-up with our launch and everything else. They've just been absolutely super. We'd also like to acknowledge the role of our sponsors and volunteers, without whom this weekend just wouldn't be feasible, just wouldn't be possible, simple as. Dairygold and Co-op Superstores have a very long history of supporting Macra and Avondhu Macra, and when we came knocking for this rally, they were again very supportive from the get-go, and they came on board as our headline sponsor. It was worth noting that Dairygold were also the headline sponsors for the last Avondhu rally, which was held in 1991, and it's great to see that tradition continuing, and we're delighted to have so many people from Dairygold Co-op Superstores here tonight. And following on from that, it's also lovely to see so many people from that 1991 rally committee here as well tonight, so thank you very much. We must also acknowledge the support of many other businesses that have supported us this weekend, because the support that we get from that is just also invaluable. A special thanks to many other Macra members of the Avondhu Regional Executive and the clubs, and many Macra members past and present who've given us so much support and advice and help over the last while. Without your help, support, these events like this, they just don't happen. Your support and work has not gone unnoticed. A special thank you to a few people. So Billy, who made out our rally booklet that they're on your table. Thank you very much, Billy. I know he's not here. Thank you, Billy. And as we mentioned in the rally bag that came out earlier on today, unless you've been living under a rock, you couldn't have missed our photo and video man Timmy, who has been everywhere. So thank you very much, Timmy. And also to the 6 past presidents who debated and the one who facilitated, tried to keep control of them. Thank you to all 7 of you for giving up your time this evening. It was a lovely way to start the evening, so thank you very much for obliging the rally committee and saying yes when I asked you. So thank you so much. It was a lovely start to our evening. And finally, because I was told not to speak too long, the rally committee itself. I've had the pleasure of working with a dedicated bunch of people on the rally committee for the last several months. Some of whom I knew quite well beforehand, some I wouldn't have known as well. And I know people always say that, oh yeah, you become friends with people when you get to work with them, and yeah, it's a cliche, but it is actually true. I think even some of the people were laughing there when we were messing around with our photos just before we came down, and that was all actually true. We have had some great fun. Some busy times, some hairy times, but that's the nature of any committee or any job that needs to be done, But we've always got through it with a smile on our face, and we've had some fantastic times, and it's been really enjoyable. So the dedicated bunch of people, I just want to say that you're a fantastic bunch of people. We all have our own different skill sets, and we all have worked really well together as a team. So I want to say a heartfelt thank you to Caroline, to Kathy, to Breed, to Niall, to Shelley, to Ciara, to Michael, Adrian, Gavin and Breda for all your hard work throughout. Without you, we wouldn't be here tonight. So thank you all very, very much. If there's anyone I've omitted, it is not intentional. I do sincerely apologise. There are a few other people who have helped out, and you know who you are yourself, so thank you very much for your assistance and guidance along the way. And other than that, I just want to say thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I just want to say that we've now finally done it. So thank you very much.
Menus have been used at this stage. I think we can move straight on to our main sponsors here today. First, on behalf of the National Organisation, I know Marie has thanked our main sponsors here today. But obviously, as a national organisation, it's incredible to see the support of such a large entity as Dairygold and the Co-op Superstores to one of our national and biggest events we host every year. The only thing I will just say is, just before I invite the speaker up, can everyone just be aware that it's a big thing to stand up here in front of such a large group of people, and people talking can be quite disrespectful. So I'll now invite up the speaker from Co-op Superstores.
Mr. President, Thomas Duffy, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've all enjoyed your weekend so far. It is indeed a great honour for me to address you on an occasion of your 75th anniversary. Me and Dairygold Co-op are delighted to be on board as sponsors of this year's Co-op Superstores Avondhu Macra Rally. Avondhu Macra, just like Dairygold Co-op, plays a pivotal role in both urban and rural Munster. And Many of our members, employees and customers are either current or past members of your organisation and have enjoyed the many benefits of having been part of such a strong and vibrant organisation. This is what makes this occasion such a natural fit for Dairygold Co-op. These are very exciting times in Irish agriculture, with the phenomenal growth we've witnessed in dairy production over the last 5 years or so. This has brought many opportunities both at farm and processor level, but it has also brought challenges. Animal welfare, environmental, and changes in consumer behaviour will all need to be addressed. However, I am confident that we will address these challenges. What gives me this confidence? When I look around this room, I see highly educated and motivated people that would be the envy of any industry or sector. Every decade has thrown up challenges, and every generation has adapted to these challenges. And I have every confidence that you will do the same. Will you make mistakes or have dark days? Of course you will. Everybody does. However, the friendships you form and the knowledge you gain from being members of organisations such as Macra and attending occasions such as these will always stand to you on those days. The Co-op movement is another organisation which has served the needs of the farming community, from processing of its inputs to providing competitively priced, high-quality inputs. Do not take the role of your Co-op for granted, and I would encourage you to become members, take an interest in it, and get involved to mould it to serve your current and future needs. Harness the knowledge of past generations and use it to your advantage. Respect it, but do not be sponsored by it. So finally, I would like to congratulate you on a hugely successful and enjoyable rally, and look forward to Macra and Dairygold continuing their mutual beneficial relationship for many years to come. Thank you very much, and enjoy the
Thank you very much, John O'Gorman, the Chairman of Dairygold. Now, as I've demonstrated a few times, I'm not a big fan of asking people to clap repeatedly, because I like seeing different ways to appreciate groups. And given that we have Dairygold here, and they have actually a really good online presence, I'm going to ask everyone to do something really, really simple. Can everyone whip out their phones really, really quick? And go to Facebook, look up Co-op Superstores, and press like. Because I think that would be a little bit appreciated as well, as much as clapping for everybody. While you're doing that, I'm going to invite up our CEO, Denis Duggan, who is in charge of our staff. He'll be giving you a speech and a rundown on the national corporate side of our organisation. Thank you.
Thanks, President. Winter, Macra Firma, ladies and gentlemen, past presidents, President of the Agricultural Science Association, President and Deputy President of the IFA, distinguished guests, you're all very welcome to our occasion tonight. Members of the Rally Committee, first of all, I want to pay a sincere thank you on behalf of all of the staff for the Trojan effort that you have put into organising the entire weekend. And I think they're, without doubt, due a round of applause again. I also want to acknowledge the presence of a number of our sponsors from across the organisation. We're represented here tonight by Sean Clark from IFAC, Enda Shalvey from Board BIA, John from FPD, and along with members of IFA branches and the county executive as well. So thank you all for joining us tonight. Just to recap on some of the highlights of the weekend, we started on Friday with our national conference, and we were delighted to be joined in an executive chair type of engagement with Jim Wolfe, the Chief Executive. And Jim, because the theme of the conference, for those of you who weren't there, the theme of the conference was disruption in agriculture. And Jim spoke quite openly about the disruption that agriculture is facing and how Dairygold, at the start of the year, would have thought of Brexit as being the main disruptor. But in the last couple of weeks, globally, we're faced as an agricultural community with a war over aircraft between Boeing and Airbus, as Jim pointed out, and that disruption in the event of in the form of 25% tariffs on butter and cheese going into the US has had more of an impact and more of a negative impact on Irish agriculture than Brexit potentially has. We were also delighted at our conference to be joined for the first time in a number of years by the Minister for Agriculture, by representatives of Teagasc, WIT, TSSG and many other organisations, including Tom Pemberton, a blogger and influencer from the United Kingdom. Yesterday, we had the privilege, and again for those of you who weren't there, we had the privilege of having 15 of our best clubs participate in the final of our Club of the Year competition, which was sponsored by Imagine Broadband. And for those of you who had the opportunity to meet some of those clubs, the enthusiasm, the passion and the engagement that they have in the organisation is without doubt inspiring and wonderful to see. And our huge congratulations to all of the winners, but especially to Gala and Macra for winning Club of the Year. Our farm walks yesterday, we were again privileged to have the experience of continuing the theme of technology and, from the conference, and to visit both Glen South and the Dunn's farm, which are probably the two main farms, as well as the tillage farm in Barry's, where we saw a lot of technology both in the beef and the dairy sector. And again, thank you to all of our host farmers, and again to those that have joined us tonight, a sincere thank you for sharing your knowledge and your time and experience with our young farmers yesterday. I mentioned that we were joined by Amy Shalvey from Borbia. We had our Borbia Beef and Sheep Stock Judging competition earlier today, and again, huge congratulations to Fergus O'Rourke, to Fabian Jacob from North Kilkenny, and Martin Marie from Banquet, our collective winners. Again, on behalf of the national organisation, to reiterate, Marie has already thanked Jim and John and Liam and the entire team in Dairygold. But again, without the support of our many sponsors, and Dairygold is a fantastic contributor both at local and national level to the organisation, and through initiatives such as our land mobility service, we are forever grateful for your support and your continued support of the organisation. And again, thank you for joining us tonight. And finally, to our team of staff, again, Marie had mentioned the wonderful and the one and only Jerry Murphy, the training officer for the Cork and Kerry region. Despite that big round of applause, there's more to Macra than Jerry Murphy. But without doubt, events like this and all of the activity of the organisation, it is great credit to both the volunteer effort of the thousands of volunteers across the country, but as well as that, the team of over 22 staff that work week in, week out to make and to help support the capacity development of our thousands of young people. To those that have joined us here tonight, to Derry Dillon, our Head of Membership, Policy and Advocacy, thank you Derry. Stephanie Roy, our recently appointed Communications and Press Officer. Stephanie joins us from Canada, where she was previously Chief of Staff to Chief of Staff to a member of the Legislative Assembly in Manitoba. And to Lisa Reedy, who again has recently joined us as our new events and marketing manager. Thank you all for the effort that you put in, as well as Jerry over the weekend. And finally, to our debaters and the entertainment you've given us, thank you very much. And once again, a huge congratulations to Avondhu, to Marie and to Rita for the effort you've put in. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we have one last speaker to go before we can start serving the food, so don't get too excited. The last speaker here tonight is someone who is incredibly important to the organisation in ways that people may not be aware. I often am the face of the organisation, and occasionally when I have a voice, the voice of the organisation, but it's not going like it is at the moment. However, I can honestly say that the organisation would not function without the role of the board, past for some people who would recognise it better as the executive. We have always had a chairperson and a president, and those two roles have always been complementary and incredibly important to us, and it's something that we've kept through our transition to a new governance structure. On a more personal level, I would also say that Marie has been to me one of the greatest supporters before I decided to become president and now during my time as president. I know she's worked incredibly hard on the speech, so I think we should all give her the fullest of respect in allowing her to stand up and give what will no doubt be an excellent, well-prepared speech with plenty of quotes. Thank you very much.
agus a cóir de galéir díomh. Mola Noiga agus Chuckit Sheed. Praise the youth and they will flourish. And for 75 years, that's what Macra has done. It has taken the rural youth and young farmers of Ireland, and it has praised them, developed them, and educated them into better people, better leaders, better farmers. And the creator of all of this, Stephen Cullinan. 75 years, he set the seeds of our wonderful organisation, and look how it has grown. From our roots and our members, the likes of the IFA, Feroiga, the Farmers' Journal, and many more have grown. More recently, we've seen the development of our Land Mobility Service, our Agricultural Skills Net, and the North Tipperary-led Make Move Mental Health Initiative. 75 years of Macra has seen many a friendship forged, and as we've seen tonight, many a debate and rivalry created. Car journeys to every corner of the country, dinner dances and field days galore, and let's not forget about the many Macra marriages and babies. Macra members have a habit of making the impossible seem possible, whether it's finding a last-minute replacement for a debating team or staging a sitting in the Dáil. Macra enables its members to flourish and do great things. Just look at the weekend we've had, all member-driven, and to reiterate Marie's words, the rally committee have done it. A rally is nothing without a sponsor, and in that regard, Dairygold must be acknowledged for their support this weekend. Born out of the amalgamation of the Ballyclock and Mitchelstown cooperatives, they have a long tradition of supporting the young and not so young farmers in the Avondhu region. This year they celebrated the 100th anniversary of the founding of Mitchelstown Co-op, and this cooperative was instrumental in setting up Ireland's first Young Farmers Club in Ireland in 1925. A plaque in honour of this is still pride of place in Mitchelstown today, and on it are engraved the words, "Unite to Progress." These words are more relevant now than ever before. This weekend, we've seen a showcase in the best Irish agriculture has to offer, but we've also heard the harsh challenges and realities that our industry faces. So now, all of us with a stake in rural Ireland and Irish agriculture have to unite to progress. We need to face these challenges, and we cannot expect anybody else to do it for us. For us, the current crop of Macra members, these are our generation's challenges, and we must rise to face them. But we must rise together, work together, progress together. Sitting behind keyboards and passing judgment makes no one a warrior, but standing up and taking action does. I'd encourage all of our members to get involved with their clubs, their regions, their YFTGs, to face these challenges together, to represent our young farmers, and to showcase to the nation the great work our organisation and members do. But remember folks, no one person can make this happen alone. We can't expect Thomas as president or John or Agatha as chair or other industry leaders to do it for us. We must stand up, be counted and make our mark on Macra's history. Macra affirmed his first chairperson, John Litton probably put it a little bit more eloquently than I did, when in 1947 he said, "Whatever little differences may crop up from time to time, whatever petty jealousies may arise, let us overcome them for the good of all. Let us resolve to see the job through to success, so that when we are the old farmers, we have left a legacy to the succeeding generations of young farmers." So folks, I encourage you all, let us unite to progress for a better rural Ireland, a better agricultural sector, and for a better Macra na Firma. Gurb Macra.
With that, we've reached the end of proceedings, which everyone will be very happy to hear. Food is on the way. But just before we move on, I want to say one last round of thank you to, because sometimes I know thank yous can seem a tedious thing, but it's incredible the amount of work, and it's really important the amount of recognition that goes into everyone who has put in so much stress, so much blood, sweat and tears, in some cases literally. Terry really happy. Today, first, the hosts, all the farms that were on the farm tours, corn marts, in particular I'd like to highlight, because I was on the beef tour, Anya, who was a great host, and Jerry, who was one of the ideas for going to Glen South. It was an absolutely fascinating example. Our sponsors here today, we've already thanked them, and I hope everyone has liked the page by now, and feel free to share as much material as possible. They've been absolutely incredible. Without them, because there is a substantial cost to providing all of this, and the standard that Avondhu have delivered it in. The rally crew, and not just, because I've said in broad terms Avondhu, but I want to especially talk about Marie and her entire crew. Marie, even at the table here, has been a blur of constant movement the entire time. The amount of stress and work that has to go into this single event over 3 days is known only to people who have already hosted the rally. There are a few in this room. We give it a shot once we can get there, and it's absolutely incredible. So I think the entire night, what everyone in this room has to do is show a little bit of appreciation. And if you want to buy any of the crew a drink, I'm sure they won't turn it down. Now, I would also extend to our staff here today. They've been absolutely incredible, from Denis and the entire crew, from Stephanie, Lisa, who I've already mentioned, both of their first times here today, to the more experienced. How many rallies do you want, Jerry? I know he's shaking his head, yeah. Our judges for the Club of the Year, and also for our Best New Member. And when I am covering off past presidents, 2 of whom were involved in that, the 6 speakers and 1 chairperson, all who delivered 6 incredibly different styles. As people will know, I have a fascination with learning from different public speakers, and there was 6 master classes, from Matt's, jacket off all of a sudden, he's like he's going to a fight, off the cuff attitude, to the more prepared of Joe's speeches, and well orchestrated and well arranged. Finally, I'd just like to give 1 round of applause for our Club of the Year and our Best New Member, Amy Rose Holden, and to Callum Macra, our Club of the Year, because without them leading the way, and without the new structures and all the other participants in the competition, we would not have the level of organisation we have. So, so just finally, I finished up last time saying Macra and Boo. I'm going to finish up. Here's to another 75 incredible years. And we have the former Avondhu President, Tom Sheehan, up to cut the cake, please. Come on, Tom.
Tom. Yeah, perfect.
Cheer up.
I've got a top table and a cake, but I think we're going to finish off now. Hopefully we'll be creating a few more weddings tonight. Thanks very much.